Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys of all ages. I love San Francisco. It is the first place I ever came to on the West Coast, and I thought I was in heaven. There was hibiscus blooming in the winter. I couldn't believe it. Cars stopped for you. I couldn't believe it. I love San Francisco, and I'm very, very happy to be here. I've been doing the AIDS Walk in New York since it began. This is my first one in San Francisco, so I thank you for welcoming me here. I don't know what's going on here. All right. So most of you probably know that the AIDS Walk San Francisco benefits 32, count them, 32 organizations providing essential services to people living with HIV and AIDS in the Bay Area. You always were activists out here, weren't you? Come on, Dorothea Lange with the photographs. Way back. She goes way back. And then there was Harvey. Come on. All right. The first we'll hear from today is ACRIA, which stands for AIDS Community Research Initiative of America. And as you heard a little bit before, these are people that deal with the aging population. So, you know what I'm talking about. You remember Tim Conway? Yeah. The aging population. This is the 50th anniversary of 2 shows that I was involved in. So I need some people that are dealing with the aging population. Although I am very lucky not to have contracted HIV or AIDS, most of my brothers that I grew up with in my chosen family did. Succumbed to the disease and graduated from Earth School, shall we say. And so now we are lucky to have many, many people living, but with the after effects of the drugs that it took to help them live. And so ACRIA is extremely, extremely important in many, many ways. The 2 things that I am celebrating the anniversary of are the original production of Hair on Broadway, which we celebrated the 40th anniversary at the Speedway some 10 years ago. And also, I was the electrician on Boys in the Band. Go figure. Which is now having its revival on Broadway. People living with long-term with HIV who are over the age of 50 are at higher risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer more than their peers. ACRIA is a national authority on the emerging issues of older adults and HIV. Their work is crucial to improving programs and policy for HIV-positive people over 50 right here in the Bay Area and beyond. Please welcome ACRIA's passionate leader. I had just had some breakfast with him. He's a nice guy. Executive Director, Kelsey Louie. Come here, Louie.
Good morning, San Francisco. Welcome to AIDS Walk. We're so excited that you're here today. My name is Kelsey Louie, and I am the proud Executive Director of ACRIA, and we are thrilled to be here for our first year. Your participation today is accomplishing so many things. First, you're raising money for amazing organizations that are helping our most vulnerable people in the Bay Area every single day. Second, you're standing together as a community. And third, you're showing the world that the Bay Area will not tolerate stigma, discrimination, or policies that actively hurt our neighbors. Right. Not now, not ever. Right. And many of our neighbors need your help. Did you know that 60% of all people living with HIV in San Francisco are over the age of 50? Many of them never thought they'd live for more than a few years with HIV, much less decades. This is a tremendous public health achievement, and it's thanks to people like you that we've come this far. But we know that aging brings challenges, especially if you have HIV. And that's where ACRIA comes in. For more than 25 years, ACRIA has led the way in studying how older adults are living and thriving with HIV. And for the past several years, we've been focusing specifically on the Bay Area and the unique needs of the people living here. Our research has helped organizations around the region, and in fact, around the country, work more effectively with older people living with HIV. Most importantly, it's helping these folks live happier, healthier lives. Some of the people we're working with led the Bay Area's response to HIV and AIDS during the plague years. They are the veterans of our war against AIDS. They are our heroes. And now it's our turn to help them. And that's where all of you come in. Thank you again for walking today. Thank you again for demonstrating what community means in the Bay Area. Thank you again for emulating the wise words of Hillary Clinton. Never stop believing that fighting for what's right is worth it. It is. It is worth it. Thank you. It's an honor that we are joined here today by the President of the Board of Supervisors, Malia Cohen. And from one of the Bay Area's most nurturing, nourishing, and beloved charitable organizations, from Project Open Hand, please welcome Mark Ryle.
Good morning, San Francisco. It's kind of cold out here, but that's not hard for us. We're used to this. So my name is Mark Ryle. I'm the CEO of Project Open Hand. And usually you hear from me in these few minutes sweet, good stuff about the food we provide. But I'm a little pissed off today. So I'm going to start out with the sweet stuff, and I'm going to end with a call to activism, because it all started here and we need to keep it up. So first, I'll thank ACRIA and Kelsey for what we're creating here today, this new part of the AIDS Walk San Francisco. I think it is more powerful than it's been in decades, and we're grateful for that. Also, thanks to Dan Ashley, who believes through his heart for everything we're standing for today. So my name is Mark. I've been the CEO at Open Hand for just under 5 years, leading an organization that is the sole provider of nutrition to people with HIV in San Francisco. We serve the largest population of HIV of any agency in the country, and we do that proudly and beautifully. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about our gratitude. So we, as a beneficiary of this walk, we're able to do what we do in our heart, which is just provide good, beautiful food in a loving way to people with HIV in San Francisco and Oakland. But I want to tell you that there's some real data behind that. The Department of Public Health in San Francisco this year has told us that if a client is engaged with Project Open Hand, they are 30% more likely to be virally suppressed. If a client is engaged with Project Open Hand, they are 50% more adherent to their HIV meds. Work we do is simple, but it works. So that means we get better every day. And even with that hopeful news, today more than any time in our recent history, we are facing threats. Threats from our administration that is difficult to work with. Just last week, the administration threatened to reduce vital Ryan White funding to begin to pay for the atrocities created in the immigration policy and separations of families, taking from one vital group, trying to solve a problem they've created themselves. This attempt to pit one marginalized community against the other won't work. We have for decades in San Francisco and throughout this country facing HIV stood together. We will continue to stand together. And to get to one of us by pitting the other against won't work. You see, populations who suffer understand what it means. We understand the value of working as partners against all odds. And we will not allow the administration or the Trump governance to get in the way of our funding or to hurt others. So what I'm calling on you today is to stand together, to say, as everyone here at AIDS Walk San Francisco, that Donald Trump, as you continue this work, pulling money from HIV, pitting others against others, you'll have to go through us. You'll have to go through all of us who have fought for decades against a governance structure that doesn't support the marginalized. You'll have to go through us to get to anyone else, because we were here and we're still here fighting this disease. So from Project Open Hand and the goodness of what we do, the thousands of meals that we provide every day, we call you to activism. We call you to that old ACT UP strategy that we started decades ago to fight against the cut in funding, to fight against the cut in population health, and to fight against discrimination, racial, ethnic, and against HIV. We've done this before and we'll do it together. Well, thank you again for this morning.
I'd also like to acknowledge that we're here with Michael Harwood, the chair of the board of directors for ACRIA. Did you know that in San Francisco, more than half of the 16,000 people living with HIV and AIDS are unemployed? PRC remains the only place in San Francisco for people living with HIV and AIDS to get comprehensive benefits counseling and employment services. Here from PRC, please welcome Brett Andrews.
Good morning, San Francisco! Supervisor, I wore my cute shorts, and the weather is not cooperating! See the little stripe in there? Thank you. Yeah. It is a great day. A little chilly. I had a longer speech, but it's so chilly out here, I'm just going to shorten this just to say quickly, thank you so very much for your presence here today. I'm Brett Andrews. I'm the CEO of PRC, and I have the thrill and the honor and the privilege of serving in that role, and I have served in that role for the last 15 years. I want to give a big shout out to Team PRC. Woo! Holding steady at number 3. Castro Country Club, you're in our sights. I just want you to know that, number 2. You guys rock. Thank you so much for that. I want to do some quick shout outs to Dan Ashley and ABC7, honestly, for raising the awareness that you've done over the last year, your talent, your presence, your passion that you have. Thank you so much for that. To Craig Miller for being the creator of all of this, bringing us together from many years ago. Thank you for your presence and your bright idea. And certainly for ACRIA being a new community partner with us and having an opportunity to collaborate. Over 5,000 people PRC serves throughout the year. And on behalf of them, I want to say thank you to the walkers and the corporations and their representatives that are here today. And when I say that every dollar that you raise is meaningful and has a meaningful impact, I mean it. In our emergency financial assistance program, we generate client checks every day for them. And some of those checks that I sign off on are as little as $15 and $20 to provide co-payments and to keep people's lights on, all the way up to $1,500 to help people stay in their apartments. And we know how challenging it is here in San Francisco. So for sure, when you're writing your checks and when you are soliciting your family and friends for $20 and $25, those are the important dollars that are going to the community. Of course, I'm pleased over the medical advancements that we've had over the many years, and certainly that is good for HIV healthcare. But what we also know is food is healthcare. And that we know that community is healthcare. Community that we have right here as I look out over the meadow. So I want to thank you, and on behalf of our board and our staff and our clients, to say, come together, Let's have a wonderful time, a great walk, get some exercise in, and about 12:30 or